Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get it. Let's talk some Monday Night Football. I'm excited for this one. This was my kind of game of the week as we look into the Monday Night Football matchup between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. This was my game of the week for week one, and tonight we conclude that week one NFL start that we have now in the books. Okay, so a couple things to talk about. I mean, we're going to do our weekend observation video tomorrow, so make sure you guys all have your notification bell turned on because I'm not sure how that one's going to do, but it's going to be kind of a fun little segment that I'm going to do here on the channel where we talk about the college and football ranks and some of the observations that I make and overreactions, underreactions, what teams are hot, futures that I'm kind of excited about now. So make sure you guys all have that notification bell turned on and don't miss that video. But let's get into the NFL picks for Monday Night Football. I'm going to give you guys four best bets, and this is one where we started off the season 5-0 with that with the first game where we had Kansas City and Baltimore, and then I was a Eagles backer on the second game in Brazil on Friday night. However, there were a lot of things about that game that went the opposite direction than what I was on. So pretty much outside of just having the Eagles for the full game and some other things along the way from a prop standpoint, it was kind of a hit or miss game. So anyways, let's get into tonight because that's what matters. That's why you guys are here. Let's talk about the Jets and the 49ers. Let's dive into what's going on right now within the likes of Outlier, okay? And what we're going to do here with Outlier is we are going to use Outlier to find the best prop bet that I was able to make, and I will have a little bit of an insight into that, and that's kind of what we're going to do. There's one bet in the prop world that I think that is very, very juicy, so I'm going to share that with you guys. That is one of my four best bets, so we'll save the best for last, but let's talk about the game. And as it currently stands right now, you can see the number, okay, the number set right now is 3.5. We have a money line at the 49ers, almost $2 favorites, and the Jets come in here getting plus 3.5. But the biggest thing here we have to talk about is kind of how we look at Aaron Rodgers' return. I think that's the storyline. That's what everybody wants to know. And quite frankly, that's why we're all here. That's why this is a Monday Night Football game, all right? And if we get into kind of what's happening within the 49ers and Jets a little bit deeper, you can see where the money's kind of at. If you look at some of the insights and kind of the more public appeal, and I'm going to pull that up for you guys real quickly, okay? You can see where we have 91% of the money is on San Francisco. We have 38% of the money on San Francisco in terms of the spread. So definitely favoring San Francisco on a money line standpoint. And I don't think this is enough of a betting split to allow me to bet one way or another just solely based off of that. I use that more so as a tiebreaker if I want to see where early money is at, knowing which direction the number is going to move. But the big thing here right now, we're seeing an overwhelming majority of money on the under. That's where I'm going to be at. That is my best bet. Primetime unders, we are going to take the under 44. Right now it's at 43.5, but if you do shop around, you can find a 44. Maybe a little bit juiced up, but I still think that half point's worth it. So I am going to take the under 44 as my first best bet. But then we're going to get into some of the kind of storylines and some insight that we have going on in this game. Let me pull that up for you guys real quickly. That's one of the beautiful things about Outlier is kind of where you can get into some serious kind of data points and stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to pick up on just by using this insight tool. So we are going to pull this up, and it'll be real quick. Boom, Jets, 49ers. Here you go. So a couple little nuggets here. This is kind of where we're going to go at in terms of my next bet. Breece Hall, that's a great addition that we have for the Jets. One of my fantasy football running backs, poised to have one of the breakout seasons in the NFL. I'm going to be taking Breece Hall over his receptions, 3.5 receptions. We saw what Aaron Rodgers was able to do with Aaron Jones back in the likes of Green Bay. Definitely going to have checkdowns. There's going to be insane pass rush in this game, both sides, and that's going to kind of be my storyline that we have going. We have Brock Purdy, somewhat more of a mobile quarterback, which we'll get to that a little bit later in the conversation. But for me, Breece Hall, he's going to be a fantasy nightmare. He's going to light up the scoreboard. And I definitely like him over 3.5 receptions in this spot. I think that's probably one of the best bets you can make right now. Minus 135 on that number. Okay. Another guy we're going to talk about, George Kittle. You can see right here a little insight. He's failed to exceed 2.5 first downs. That's more of a fantasy, more of a fantasy kind of nugget, if you will. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this real quick, but we're not going to waste time on that. The easy way to get rid of that is you have to take off the fantasy apps like that, and then that's where we can get back to it. Okay, Brees Hall anytime touchdown. That's another good one. 4 hours last 5 games, averaging a touchdown a game. This was very interesting. Brandon Ayuk getting the contract done, over 48.5 reception yards, and it's 13 of his last 77 games. So that is a great hit rate. We look for that minus 113. Definitely a little juicy. Kittle under his receptions. I do think he might be a little bit more involved tonight and this year for the 49ers, so I'm not going to get too crazy with that. Also, Brees Hall failed to exceed 64.5 rushing yards. So first game, kind of taking a wait-and-see approach with that, to be honest. But I definitely think against top 10 defenses, San Fran's rush defense, and we look for that to really kind of respond, and they're going to come out full of piss and vinegar. You lose the Super Bowl, those teams come back fired up. I think San Francisco is going to definitely do that, especially being, at home. The fans will be raucous, and that kind of leads me into my overall play where we're going to be taking the under. I think this is going to be a really defensive-minded and stout game, okay? And then we talked about the Brees Hall props over 3.5. That will be one of my best bets. We talked about the under 44. That'll be one of my best bets. And then, obviously, this is kind of the great one that I came down with from Outlier. Look at Brock Purdy, okay? We're going to attack this from a rushing standpoint. We're seeing this number move. This was 6.5. Now we're looking at 7.5 is the best number that I could find. I think that with the Jets pass rush and how they're going to play defense, I look for Purdy to really have a chance to get this one done above 10 because we might need it with some kneel downs late, okay? But I think that Purdy's going to be able to scramble a little bit. All we need is one 10-yard scamper, and then we end up cashing this ticket. So this is my best bet, courtesy of what we were able to put together from Outlier. So if you do want to sign up using Outlier, links down below in the description. Make sure you get that 7-day free trial. Don't bet without it. But this is where I'm going to be all over Brock Purdy, minus 119, over 7.5 rushing yards. Kind of my play of the day in terms of the Monday Night Football game. So for all you guys out there in the same game parlay business, on FanDuel, they have boosts, DraftKings boosts. Take advantage of your boost. That's just pure value. And I am going to probably parlay all 4 of these picks together. No alternates, just kind of like them. I like them as they stand. I might end up just dumbing down the San Francisco down to 2.5. Just to get rid of that 3.5, that 4 point, needing to win by 4. But this is something where I just definitely like Brock Purdy at home rushing without, we take away the kneel downs. I think this one has a pretty fair shot of cashing. So this will be my best bet. Okay. And then conversely, guys, on the other side of this, we are going to be taking the San Francisco 49ers minus 3.5. I'm just all over the 49ers returning back from action, Super Bowl loss, healthy. A lot of stuff was talked in the offseason. Trent Williams is signed. Ayuk is signed. The boys are back in town. I'm not a 49ers homer, and I do think Rodgers is going to play hard too, going against his childhood favorite team growing up. But for me, the biggest handicap, and I am very bullish on the Jets. I'm very bullish on the Jets, okay? I think their defense is going to be severely undervalued in the fantasy football drafts. I think it should have been taken higher off the board. I think that having a quarterback to keep that defense on the field is going to make them do wonders. We know what Sauce Gardner brings to the table. That defensive line, fantastic. And then you get into the back end where we talk about their wide receivers revamped. I think they're going to have a very good approach to their tight ends within Aaron Rodgers being in the fold, and he has to be really excited to throw to Garrett Wilson and company. So, like the Jets, we'll see if they get Devontae Adams a little bit later on in the season in the trade or so. The writing is on the wall, but we are going to be taking the San Francisco 49ers in this game, minus 3.5. And this will be my final play for the Monday Night Football game that we have kicking off tonight out there in Levi's Stadium, 8:15 will be that kickoff. So appreciate you guys. Good luck with your picks. Remember to subscribe down below if you haven't already done so. Smash that like button, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.